My name's Captain Barbagallo. I've been with the fire department about 26 years. I'm in charge of senior safe programs and the school department programs also. So a lot of my day is spending with doing presentations like this to try to keep the community safe. We had a little PowerPoint presentation. It's really not going to be effective because it's too bright in this room. It was just a matter of a few pictures to kind of keep things in mind, but we can go through it anyway. As you know, the fire department handles the ambulances in this town also. So if you call 911 and you need the fire department for fire services or for medical services, you're going to get the Gloucester Fire Department. We'd be responding to your call on either side. As I'm going along, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm just going to give you a quick, brief overview of what the fire department does for the community, especially for the senior citizens. Most of what we do for the senior citizens is on the medical side, running with our ambulance division. We have two fully staffed 24 hours a day city-owned ambulances that run this town. We run at we call it the paramedic level. What happens when you call 911 and our ambulance shows up at your door, the Gloucester Fire Department ambulance shows up at your door? You now have the emergency room at your doorstep. Everything except the doctor. Those paramedics are trained to do 99% of what goes on in the emergency room in your home. They're there 24 hours a day. The biggest complaint I have with senior citizens, they wait too long to call me, to call the department. They don't want to bother us. They think their issue is too small to call 911 for. I'll give you one thing that you need to keep in your mind. Kind of look at it this way. For every minute you decide not to call, you can consider that one extra day you have to stay in the hospital afterwards because your condition has gotten that much worse and that much worse. Again, I'll refer back to where I started. We're there 24 hours a day. Your tax dollars are paying for us. Use the service. Call us. Call us. The earlier you call us, the earlier you get into attention, the better your outcome's going to be, and the better you're going to be able to live out your life. The second comment I hear a lot is people are afraid to call us because once they leave their home, they never go back. That's untrue. Totally untrue. We have at least 4 people in our department that work actively with the different city organizations to make sure you return to your home. So we'll refer back to the first point. The longer you wait to call, the longer you're going to be in the hospital, the better chance is you might not return home. Make the call, get the attention you need, get taken care of early. What you think is a sneeze and the sniffles and you've been having trouble breathing for 2 days could be something much worse. You need professional help, call 911. Like I said, these guys are great. They're very good. They're trained, highly trained. We've got the best department as far as advanced life support, the best system in the state, if not the country. I attend a lot of meetings that a lot of people come from all over the country to see how we run here in Gloucester, how we're managing it. We have a large call volume with a small department and a small budget, but we manage it. And that's what everybody's trying to model. So take some heart in that you've got a professional department here in your town looking out for you. And we're on the cutting edge of everything we have. That's the medical side of us, which, like I said, is usually about 90% of what we do. The fire side of us is a whole nother issue. I could go on for hours on that. After 26 years, the things I've seen and the places I've been, it's boggling that as a society we still survive. From the use of extension cords, to smoking, to not understanding your smoke detectors and your CO detectors. As far as, I could stand up here giving you all the evils of not smoking. At this stage in your life, it's a waste of time. You're not going to change. I know that. You know that. You know just to be careful with it. Use metal containers, glass and steel ashtrays. Don't dump them in your trash. They get dumped outside because that's where we get a lot of problems. They reignite. Careless disposal of cigarettes and smoking materials is a big problem. Smoke detectors. Another large part of our responses. Smoke detectors. If it's chirping in your house, It's telling you something. Something's wrong. Either it's getting ready to activate because it's smelling smoke, or the detector's in trouble and it's not able to function correctly. Don't ignore the chirping detector. If you don't understand what's happening, call 911. We'll come out, we'll troubleshoot the situation, and we'll guide you. Oh, it's a bad detector. Do you have a battery? We'll just pop one in for you. Or you need to call an electrician, you've got a problem with the system. But at least you'll have it kept and maintained, and keep it up maintained. Smoke detectors are only good for 10 years. If you've got a smoke detector that you don't know how long it's been up there, see if you can get some help, get it down. There's a date on the back of them. 10 years. After 10 years, there's no guarantee that smoke detector will activate in a fire. So make sure those get changed. If you happen to look up at the ceiling and the ceiling's probably as yellow as the sun, your smoke detectors, that color yellow, it's probably over 10 years. They're supposed to be white, they've discolored. Have it checked, get it replaced. Carbon monoxide detectors, same exact thing. If they're chirping, something's wrong. Either they have a bad battery or they've detected carbon monoxide in your home. There's a big fallacy with carbon monoxide. Oh, I've smelled it before, it's car exhaust. No. What you're smelling in car exhaust is small leaks in the engine, whether it's engine oil, antifreeze, all sorts of different things that are ending up going out the tailpipe. The carbon monoxide, if it was pure, it's odorless, colorless, and tasteless. If it was in this room right now, we wouldn't know it. Without a detector, you would not know it. You will know that you have flu-like symptoms is the beginning of it. Watery eyes, itchy eyes, almost like allergies, not feeling well, sleepy, feeling sick. Those are some of the big points that you're looking for in your home. The detector itself, if it's making any noise at all, it has a problem. Call 911. That's what we're here for. That's what we do, day in, day out. So we handle the medical side of things. We handle the fire side of things. And you've seen us all out in the streets doing the car accidents, the water rescues, right down to we're in the parades. I mean, we're very active. We do a lot of stuff. We have the resources to help you. That's why we're here. Anytime you get really confused and you don't know how to handle a situation, I always refer back to this. The senior center here should be your clearinghouse. You don't know what to do with a bill from the fire department. You don't remember what they might have said about the smoke detectors. You can call us and we'll ask you. We'll help you. But if you feel like it's really not that big a deal, talk to someone at the senior center. They'll get back in contact with me and we'll meet up and we'll get your particular situation straightened out. I know a lot of people don't like to ask questions in big rooms like this. I'll be around for probably another hour or so afterwards if you want to talk to me in the corner of the room and stuff about your particular problem. Your problem or a problem you see with your neighbor, which is another big issue. Watching out for each other. You haven't seen your neighbor for 2 weeks. I prefer to have you tell me you haven't seen your neighbor since yesterday and the mail's been piling up. This is someone you see every day, all day long, and all of a sudden you don't see them. We all know what usually happens. They're on the floor now because they fell and they can't get up. They've hurt their hip, or they've been sick for 2 days and they're too weak to get up now. Keep an eye out for each other. You see something strange going on in your neighborhood, you see, I don't want to break into the police side of it, suspicious activity, make a call. You start to smell an odd smell in your building, make the call. We're more than happy to come out and investigate and put your mind at ease that it was nothing, or find out who made the call and say, you know, you saved the day. There was an issue in your building, could have been anything. It could have been nothing more than, you know, some animals had built a nest in the basement and they were starting to cause a problem, and we were going to now have some sort of a gas leak or an electrical problem in your basement. But because you could smell the different smells of these animals and stuff, it didn't smell right, so you called for help. That's what the city services here are all about. There's a lot of vendors here. Make sure you visit them. They all do a part of it also. It's not just all police and fire. It's a whole system that we use, and it's a good system.
I'm Detective Steve Mazzoni with the police department. I don't normally do this, but it's a pleasure to be here. The captain made a lot of good points regarding folks that are here, the elderly or people in need of service. Some great points that the fire department's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So aren't the police. We have a dispatch center so modernized with qualified dispatchers that we're now called EMDs, emergency medical dispatchers. These folks, when you call 911 and you have an emergency or your loved one does, these folks have been trained medically. Most of us are EMTs by trade, but these guys will walk through and help save lives while dispatching our great fire department and their ambulance and their paramedics, who are like doctors. I want them to come to my house when there's an emergency. But our guys are trying to keep up the medical part. When we get 911 calls, they are walking people through certain things that they can do to help a loved one that may be not breathing or not breathing well, or in some sort of cardiac emergency, and so on. So we've really updated over the years. Since when I started, 911 call would come in, we'd hit a button and transfer it to the fire department, and that was it. Now we have maps that show us where you are within feet, names, phone numbers. We have your address where we don't have to, sometimes we'll get a call and we know somebody can't talk, but we're already sending help. We're sending police cruisers. On every 911 call comes in, a police cruiser is going to respond along with, if it's a medical, the fire department, the paramedics, and the squads. So that part, and we work so close with the fire department on everything. If we have, as you folks know, there are times we have people addicted to drugs or alcohol. Well, we work with the fire department. We all get to know some of the same folks, and we work together with them in such a good way that we can call and say, hey, we have this, this, and this, and they're right on top of it. The police department also recently hired she works in assistance as almost like a social worker. She works with people that need certain medical, not just physical, but mental cases for certain illnesses, and we have her at our disposal. She's a clinician, and she'll go right out on scene with the police and the fire and analyze and help get people to the hospital and make sure that they get the proper care that is needed. Some of the biggest things, and that's our cooperation and things, our updated systems inside our dispatch. What I would be concerned about, and it breaks my heart because it's probably once or twice a week, we have, a lot of times it's the elderly that are getting swindled or scammed. And they're getting more and more sophisticated as we go. Phone calls, you've won anything from you won a trip, send me the tax money, you've won a contest that you never entered. If there's anything that you think is if somebody's giving you free money, it's not happening. Call the police. We will be happy to send somebody over. We've interjected, we've gotten on the phone with some of these guys and quickly alleviate the problem.
If you have any doubt, then always call the police. She was great. She came to my office, and we had one in the investigation departments to look at it. We're also getting calls about, and I get them all the time. I laugh. I'm not even on Social Security, though I want to be. And says that, you know, your Social Security check's going to stop if you don't call back, or they say to you that your Medicare, right now it's going to be open enrollment. So all of these things that are coming in the mail right now look like Medicare. The red, white, and blue flag, It's MassGov. Do you want to know how you can get better services? You can get dental, because that's another scam. You can get dental and people can give you rides, and it's not going to cost you anything. This is a new Medicare. We'll help you. It's all over the TV and everything else. No, you have to qualify. There's so many things. But then you sign it. When you sign it, do you realize what's happening? You just enrolled in that program. And I might, or Lydia might, or no other Shine counselor might not be able to get you off. So there are scams for money, and then now coming up are scams for insurances that the police can't do anything about because you signed it. So be careful. There's two different kinds of scam. Scam, they're going to take all your money. Two, the scams during open enrollment, they're going to put you on insurances, and unless we know right away and there's no more open enrollment, you're stuck on that plan for a year. And that's not going to put you on Prescription Advantage, or you're on Medicaid, which is Mass Health. So be very careful, because there's scams coming around. The biggest one I hate is, I'll call you up and I'll use Lydia. So I'll say, hi, is this Lydia Bertolino? She can't hear. And she goes, I can't hear you. Is this Lydia Bertolino? I can't hear you. Can you hear me now? And you say yes. You just got locked into a new health insurance. You just got locked into National Grid or some other. I'm just using those. I'm not saying they're scamming you. I'm just using the companies that I know. That happened to me. Somebody called and I said yes, and I don't know what they asked. Next thing you know, I'm looking at my health and I'm looking at my electric bill, and I noticed it was a different company. So when I called up, I said I never signed. And then they had a recording that it said me saying yes. I said, but what came before the yes? What came after? How do you have just a recording say yes? That's false. That's fraud. I called the Attorney General's office, but I don't know if anything can be done, so be careful. Be very careful. And I want to thank my police department, because the fact is that they're trying every which way to prevent it, to stop it, to catch them. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, someone got scammed $40,000. And there's nothing we can do because it went to India or whatever. So please, when in doubt, call your police. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and 100% right. There's too many scams out there right now to name them all. Please, if you feel the hairs on the back of your neck, it sounds too good to be true, don't fall for it. Call us. We go over. I've been over or had people come to the station and show me what they have, and I tell them, please, don't send good money. They're asking you to send a check that you're writing out for $400 for a pre-tax prize, and they're going to send you a check that looks like a real check. It's even got the hieroglyphics on it. It's amazing. And you send them good money, and their check will bounce. A couple that are going on right now that I want you to aware. If you hear or anybody solicits and asks you to get gift cards, has anyone heard that? That's going around big time around Massachusetts. That's a big scam. If anyone asks for payment in gift cards, forget it. The RMV has an issue right now, the Registry of Motor Vehicles. If they're sending out, these scammers are sending out saying you owe money for past tickets or what have you, and they have it, it's DMV. They give you a website, you think you're sending it to the Mass Registry, but you're not. It's a scam. So make sure, whatever you're doing, anything online, or which everything is.
Make sure they understand National Grid is not a scam. I use my company. They didn't scam me. They're my wonderful company. I used them. I went back to them. Someone tried to scam me. So if you hear, I just use names like Lydia didn't get scammed. I don't want to use other people's names, so I use my own company and Lydia.
I, myself, my partner, Detective John DeFry, works with us, or anybody in the department will come over to your house and view what you have. And we'll make calls on your behalf to make sure it's legit before you do anything, okay? And again, the fire department, we work so close with them on people in needs of services. And our guys, I just want to stress, when you call 911 and our EMDs, emergency medical dispatchers, are talking to you, they are trying to help you right then and there. They've been trained, so trained, nothing like when I first started. Remember back in the day, we'd hit a button and it would transfer.
We've come a long way with 911 system.
Yeah, yeah.
And, actually, I was just going to,
Please.
just enlightened, I forgot about one more subject. She can't hear me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was just given some orders from the mayor. I forgot one subject. It was an important subject. It was something that we needed to talk about. The 911 system itself. Skip it. But we'll keep it a little civil. Thanks, Steve.
Sure. Thank you, folks.
When you call 911, you've heard an awful lot about our emergency medical dispatchers. They're technically the first people on scene. When you make that phone call, that first contact, even though they're across town, they're what we consider the first people on scene. The fact that you called 911 just gave us a host of information that's very important. Part of that information comes from if you contact one of the counselors here in the senior center, there's forms you can fill out. So that when you dial 911 from your home phone, and I'm not sure, I think it's already in this town, if they call from their cell phones, do we get a location on them?
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
For the most part, we do.
Yep.
So whether you're calling from your cell phone or from your home phone, we've already got a location of where you are, your name, and a lot of information that you might want us to have. So if you dialed 911 from your home phone or on your cell phone, sometimes it's just a single button to get emergency services. We now have your name, your location, a lot of your family medical history. Maybe you have a key someplace so we can get in without breaking a door down. A lot of information. You have a dog in the apartment, stuff like that. So there's forms that you can fill out here at the senior center, and counselors and myself will help you do that to make the 911 system work even better. We need your help to do that, though. We need your information. The information is not used for anything but if your number triggers the file. We don't sell the information. We don't, telemarketers don't contact us. We don't give them information. It's strictly emergency services. So if you told us that you have a key hidden under the rose bush to the left of the door, we're the only ones that are going to know that. On the other side of it, that's probably the first place a lot of the crooks look, but you know, in other words, if you have something like that, we know, and we'll be able to help you. And we can help you with a lot of that other stuff as far as entering your apartment anyway or your house. But the idea is to contact the senior center here, get in touch with Lucy or the counselors, get your name on that list, get that information filled out, and we'll get it entered into 911 so that when you call, you don't even have to speak. Every time you call 911 and somebody just drops the phone, you'll get a police car, a fire truck, and an ambulance. As I told you earlier, when I do this presentation to the schools and stuff, I'm talking to kindergartners through high school students. You're home, something's wrong in your house, and you're scared, and you're hiding. Dial 911 and put the phone down. Don't speak. You're hiding. You're afraid somebody's going to find you. Don't speak. We'll have an open line. We'll send help. You're going to get a lot of help, more than you might need, but at least you're going to get some help. That's something a lot of people don't understand about 911. Just because you didn't speak doesn't mean you're not going to get a knock on the door. Wait a minute.
You wouldn't get a bill for that.
No, there is no, that's the other thing. There is no bill for 911 service. On the other side, that was a great question. On the other side of it, call 911 by accident. If you call by accident, and it happens, you got to dial 9 to get an outside line, you're calling an overseas phone number, you hit 911 first. As soon as you dial 911, the call went through. When the officer picks up the phone, let him know. It was a mistake, I'm sorry, and he's going to tell you right off the bat. We're sending someone over to meet with you anyway, it's just to be sure. Because you don't know how many times someone is standing right behind you saying, you better tell them nothing's going on. They're intimidating you. So we're going to show up anyway to make sure you're all set. And the better part of that is when the kids are doing it, we get the opportunity to sit down and tell them, it's okay to make a mistake, but you know I've been here 4 times. And sometimes it means a little bit more when it's coming from the uniform than from mom, okay? So, but as far as the 911 system goes, it's a great system. It works fantastic, but we still need some help. We'd like to get your input too. Sit down with the counselors here, get in touch with them, and let's get some more information on this 911 system to make you safer. The hoarding task force is designed to keep you in your home, not remove that person. We're going to come in and give that person services. Help them clean up, have people come in to assist them on a daily or weekly basis to keep them in their home. Very few times, I think statistically about 80% of the time, we're able to keep those people in their homes. The Triad Council is made up of a few city representatives and some volunteers throughout the community. They're involved in putting on presentations like this and a lot of other functions, mainly that go on here at the Senior Center. One of them that they're doing today is this here called the File of Life. They're out there now. This is a prelude to updating your 911 information. When police or fire come into your home and you're unable to speak, one of the places we'll look is on your refrigerator. There's a magnet on the back. Sticks there. Inside is a pamphlet that we can help you fill out with the same type of information, your name, your medical conditions, people to contact when you're unconscious or can't speak, so we can get family members notified. It's a very good program, and we're out here today trying to help you get it filled out. So you got two things you could do. You can be updating your file of life and updating your information with 911 with the City of Gloucester. We have the forms right here. We'd really like to have everybody kind of get this ball rolling, tell your friends, get the information out there.
What can people do who aren't here in the room today to do what you're talking about?
Well, if you're not here today, the only way you're going to find out about it is if one of us in the room tells them. Now, if one of them, if you tell somebody that needs their information updated, the best place again to come is right here to the Rose Baker Senior Center and get a hold of one of the counselors here, and they'll be more than happy to help you. Either they're going to help you directly or they're going to put you in contact with myself or someone else, and we'll sit down with you and get all your information updated. It's just filling out a form. We'll handle entering it into the computer. You don't have to. I do know there is a way to do it on the city's website. I'm not familiar with it, so I can't walk you through it. Probably when I leave here, I will be getting familiar with it, but at this moment I couldn't. But come here and we'll help you. This is what the Senior Center's for. It's great. I know lunch is happening now. We also do a lot of other things. So that's really all we have today for a presentation. There's several vendors here from the city. Again, make sure you visit them. They all have a great part in this system. They're all here to help us, help you. We all have a little bit of giveaways and stuff. By all means, shop with us. Thank you.